Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, February 25th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about the tool of technical analysis and how it can be used to build consistency and make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Before I get to the watch list, I first just want to personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering. So if you're liking what you see as I go through the video and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency as a trader, then certainly get signed up for the free class. Now, one note, depending on when you watch this video is going to depend on when it is. So if you're watching this right after the market close, then it'll be this evening. However, if you're watching this on Friday morning, then yeah, you've already missed the class. But with that being said, if you're watching it now, but you already have something on your schedule tonight, or you're watching it Friday and you've missed it, go ahead, drop me an email, clay@claytrader.com, because the live event will be recorded. So after it's all done and completed and I get that recording uploaded, then I'd be happy to email you a link to it. So like I said, if you can't make it, I totally understand, or if you've missed it, of course, just drop me an email and I'd be happy to send you a live recording of it. A couple of quick clarification points before I get to each stock. First off, the market is still open, so you're not going to be crazy. The candle that you're seeing here and the price over here will be changing. Not as much on this one because it's a lower price stock, but you'll notice things still moving around. Like I said, you're not crazy. You're not seeing things. The market is still open for a little bit of time, and I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. But the market is also close enough to being done for the day where everything that I talk about will be very relevant. And it was a very, very eventful day, as I'm sure you're aware. Some drama going on around the world, and there are stocks flying all over the place. So like I said, let's get to it here. So first one here. Oh, and the other thing I need to note, is that each chart here will be the 30-minute time frame. So if you're a beginner, what does that mean? That just means that each one of these candlesticks, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So first one here, ticker symbol CEI, and did this one in yesterday's video, got good follow through here. But did pull back quite a bit. But within pulling back, there's now some interesting dynamics going on here, mainly that trend line right there. And there we go. Now you can see the candle starting to move around a little bit. But the idea here is that, and this no guarantees, but is it plausible? Is it valid to think that if the price can work its way up to that trend line and get a push up through it, that could create some additional buying pressure? Absolutely. Because you know that there's a bunch of people out there that have drawn that trend line. So my ability to draw that trend line, I'm not trying to say is some sort of great ability or great discovery on my part. I assure you a lot of people have noticed that level. And when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, again, nothing's guaranteed, but it's valid to think that a break of that trend line could generate some additional upside momentum. As far as supports are concerned, and if you like to play more so pullbacks, and an interesting level on that angle is right there at the 65-cent mark. But all in all, as far as a penny stock is concerned, worth keeping an eye on, especially if you know the history of CEI. It's gone on some major movements in the past, which of course doesn't mean it's going to happen again, but this is now the second day in a row of some nice movement, so worth at least keeping an eye on for Friday. Next one, IMPP, did this one over the past couple of days, so that's where all these annotations are coming from. But after today's price movement, updates need to be done as the uptrend continues, which does bring about, actually, let me first get this update in place here. And the first update is just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see the MACD support. I mean, the power of charts right here, perfect example of that. Price broke above it, came back down, and look right where it found some support, went sideways, and is now having a very nice final 30 minutes. So moving forward from an overarching standpoint, that $1.28-ish mark is going to be a key level of support. But in terms of, is this a good or bad looking chart? Well, that's going to be all dependent on you. What was your strategy? Meaning, if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, for example, and you bought up there and your plan was to buy and sell within 10 minutes, well then yeah, from that perspective, the chart looks really, really bad. But if you care about all this from the bigger picture, yeah, I understand. From the highs, there was a pullback here, but let's just take a step back and look at the lows. Well, we've already discussed that low, but you look at the previous low, and then you look at that low, and then these lows down there. And if you envision each one of those as stair-steps, what do you have? Well, from emphasis again on the big picture, you still very clearly have stair-steps progressing in the upwards direction. So is this a bad or good-looking chart to you? I don't know. That's going to be dependent on your strategy that was, going into it. But the point here being is, assuming you do care about the big picture of things, even with the pullback today, the overall trend is doing just fine. Next one here, ticker symbol AMC, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the past videos where I talked about this trend line right here and how that was a very interesting level to keep an eye on. And once again, the power of charts. You can see nasty gap down, but the price did recover, got up through that trend line, took a little bit of a breath, went sideways, and then has really had a very, very solid afternoon. So for people that bought that trend line break, which I discussed previously, very well done, good job. And I'm going to go ahead and delete these lines out as they've now served their purpose for now. But one of the newest levels of support that I'm very curious about moving forward is right here at $16.50, meaning this has been a very nice move. I state the obvious when I say that. But the question becomes, okay, well, but is there any sort of true power? Is there any sort of genuine strength behind this movement? And I don't know, but what I do know is if it is going to be truly strong, we need to see some signs of progress. Now, I realize me just saying signs of progress are empty words, but that's what's great about charts. They allow you to take empty words and make them very visual. So when I say signs of progress, I mean staying above 1650, because if the price were to come down to 1650 and then just bounce around, what would you still have? Well, you'd still have a set of lows here. Whoops. Black, probably not a good color choice. Let's try that again. There we go. You'd have a set of lows there. You'd have lows there. You'd have lows down there. And once again, going back to envisioning these as stair-steps, what would you have? Well, in this case, you'd still have progress in the upwards direction. So it's not like the price has to go straight up. It can pull back, but you're still going to want to see those progress points. And again, in this situation for me, 1650 is going to be that progress point for AMC. So let's see if the price at minimum can stay above that. Next one, PLTR. And again, this will mean a tad bit more to those of you that watched the previous videos. But even if you didn't, talked about this channel here, and it just really goes to show how crazy today actually was. Because when you look at everything from a pattern perspective, the price gapped way down below this channel. Not good at all to have a gap down that far below a pattern. So a breakdown. but by the time the market has closed, not only did the price return back up and get inside of the channel, it just kept going to the top of the channel and then broke through the top of the channel and has now just kept on going. So, I mean, if there is one stock out there that I think really just illustrates how crazy today was, this is a perfect example of it. Started off terrible with a bearish breakdown and is now closing with not only a bullish breakout, but a bullish breakout with continuation where the price continues to move upwards. So the first update is now going to be, let's see if the price can stay up above this pattern breakout. So by staying above 1125, that would keep it out of this area right here, which would be the goal right now, right? Because you don't want to see the price going back to where it was inside of the channel. You want to start to see progress, and once more, quote unquote, progress in this situation being defined and visualized at 1125. From an overarching standpoint, if this current breakout is going to continue, the next key overarching level up there, that pink line, the 200 period moving average, currently valued at $12, and let's just call it 65 cents. But overall, a crazy day, which turned out to be very bullish. Next one here, AMD. And like PLTR and like a lot of stocks, big gap down and then a very nice recovery. Although the thing with AMD is there's still work that needs to be done, whereas PLTR, just blasted through that, that pattern. But right here, you can see that this trend line here is apparently going to be very important. I mean, isn't this crazy? Just the power of charts. Been trading for almost 2 decades, yet charts still just never cease to amaze me. But by using that point and that point, chart forecasted that area of resistance and has once again forecasted it right there. But that's also a good thing because from a self-fulfilling prophecy attribute, you know that a bunch of people have noticed that trend line. So again, that does not guarantee anything, but it does make it valid. It does make it plausible to think that if the price can get up to that trend line and then break up through it, that break right there could create some additional upside buying pressure. So you're going to want to keep an eye on that trend line as the main area of resistance, followed by that 200 period moving average, again, that pink line, which is up there around the $120 mark. So overall, good day, but still got some work to do. And that first bit of quote unquote work is in regards to that trend line right there. Next one, INDO, talked about this yesterday, and you can see the pattern there, but just a huge breakout of that pattern with the gap up, which is now pulled back quite a bit, which makes this, I think, more of an interesting pullback play than anything else. And the level here that I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be watching is that former area of resistance right there around $8.60, because you're also having that purple line there start to move itself upwards, the 50 period moving average. So at some point, tomorrow, that level is going to, move itself up, and they're going to be right around the same value. And if the price can pull back, while there are no guarantees, as I've said and will continue to say, is it plausible? Is it random? It's not random at all. This area here, nobody can accuse you of saying, well, that's just some sort of random area. No, it's not. There's a lot of history around that area. So again, guarantees anything? No. Does it help you avoid randomness? Absolutely, and that's our job as traders. We want to avoid random situations. So if the price were to come down in this area, that presents a very interesting risk versus reward scenario. So as always, because there are no guarantees, you're going to want to have risk control protocols in place. But if the price does continue on up, the main area of resistance that stands out to me now, right up there at, let's call it the $12 mark. So keep a close eye on that. But overall, the overall trend remains bullish. And it goes back to the whole idea of, if you're a day trader and you bought right there, well then yeah, the chart looks terrible for you. But for people that maybe care about the big picture point of view, the uptrend is still intact. Next one, NIO, which again I talked about previously, and like PLTR does a good job of showing how crazy today was. I talked about this falling wedge pattern, which is actually a bullish pattern, but this morning price gapped way down below that pattern. However, by the time the closing bell came about, not only did it come back to the bottom of the pattern, not only did it get back inside of the pattern, not only did it test the top of the pattern, but it's now breaking out of the pattern. But it's not as clean as PLTR because the I shouldn't use the word problem. The challenge is problem. Who knew it was such a hard word to say? But the problem is that you have that 50 period right there. So yes, it's breaking out of this trend line here. However, now the big question mark, which isn't very far away, is okay, can the price push up through that purple line there? The 50 period moving average valued at $21.50. Now, if it can get through there, then that's going to make people feel that much more bullish about it, because now you have a pattern breakout. Now you have a moving average breakout. So that could very logically draw in just that much more buying pressure. So keep an eye on the 21.50 mark. That's certainly going to be very important. In fact, let me just get rid of the pattern here as it served its purpose. If there are any sort of pullbacks, then the quote unquote progress point, which you now understand, I would consider right there around that $20 mark. Next one, SNDL, and of course, nice recovery here. Was all the way down there, has now moved its way back upwards. But like the one we just talked about and why I put it, back to back. Yeah, it's looking good. However, there's the but, and the but is, well, you still have that 50 period moving average. So can the price push up through there? We'll have to see what happens. Current value of that is at 53 cents. And then as far as that progress point is concerned, yeah, it's a great bounce, but is it a truly strong bounce? Well, let's see if the price can show progress. And again, in my, opinion, quote unquote progress being defined as that 48-cent mark. But overall, nice recovery. So if you like to play this price range of these penny stocks, here's one with a nice bounce. Now it just becomes a question of can this bounce build upon itself and gather up that much more momentum? Let's see how it closes out the week on Friday. Next one here, ticker symbol SPY, which is the ETF for basically the entire market, the S&P 500. And I wanted to put this one later on in the list so that we could give the chart as much time to figure itself out as possible. And as of now, the market officially closes in 4 minutes. So point here being is it's looking like this thing is going to just close very, very strong. So the question mark going forward is, all right, can this movement continue? Is this genuinely a strong move? Does it have genuine power? And we have ourselves a very interesting test right now. The test being, you can see that the price is essentially right at that purple line, which you now know is the 50 period moving average. So in my mind, step number one is, can the price at least maintain around this area? I'm not saying it's got to blast through it on Friday or anything like that, but can the price maintain above this area, or is it going to get shoved back to the downside? Now, if it does, not the end of the world, but what I'm then curious about is, okay, well, let's see how the price behaves relative to this trend line right here, which I'm going to change to green to represent more so a bullish attribute. But can the price now stay above this trend line? Because even if the price does pull back and goes there and then shoots up here and then comes all the way back down, then shoots up here and comes all the way down, even if that were the case, as much drama as could occur, as long as all this drama is occurring above that trend line, well, that still implies that the overall trend is upwards. So it's not like, as I mentioned earlier, the price has got to go straight up in order to be healthy. No, it's just got to keep on putting in those higher bases. And again, me just saying higher bases is one thing, but with the chart here, you can see higher bases becomes very visual. So definitely keep an eye on that trend line. Next one here, Tesla, TSLA, and again, same exact premise. Big gap down, very nice recovery, but the super, super interesting dynamic here is right at this red line, which is a couple of other things. So first off, the red line is just a level of resistance from the technical chart itself. Second off, just because of the nature of a moving average being it's moving, we just have the timing. Well, look at that. That purple line is literally just timed up perfectly at that red line. And then third, that red line is representing 800, which is just a big old round number. And when you have round numbers like that, they tend to, be very significant. So the point here being is everybody and their brothers, uncles, mailmans, dog sitters, cousin is going to be watching 800 with the question mark of what happens. Shorts are going to be watching thinking, okay, maybe this thing's about to get rejected back down, which is a completely valid thought to have. Longs are going to be thinking, well, hey, if this thing breaks out, that could be going quite a bit. Another valid thought to have. Somebody's going to be right, somebody's going to be wrong, and that's why risk management matters. But the underlying theme here is by no means is 800 some sort of random area. And as traders, whether you're long or short, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to find not random areas and make plausible decisions. And it's completely plausible that the price could get rejected back down or a big old breakout could be happening. So that's why you got to manage that risk. But the point here being 800, very, very important level. And just to show you how crazy today was, Tesla has now officially had a $100 bounce. It opened up at basically 700 and is now essentially closing at 800. Crazy, crazy day. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here and you like to see and you're realizing the practical power of technical analysis and how it can be used to take words and make them very visual, very helpful, and just help you avoid random decisions, then definitely get signed up for the free class that I'm offering this evening. But also, like I said, if you already have something on your schedule or if you're watching this on Friday morning and you've missed it, like I said, it will be recorded. So go ahead and shoot me an email, clay@clayjarda.com, and just ask for it. And then once the event is concluded and I get it, uploaded, I'd be happy to send you a link to it. So definitely get signed up for the free class or drop me an email. If you enjoy these top 10 videos, then do me a favor, hit that like button, leave a comment below. As long as I know people are enjoying this format of these watch lists, I will continue to put them together. But the only way I'm going to know that is by communication on your part, by hitting the like button and leaving a simple comment. Say hi, tell me what you traded today, tell me what you're watching tomorrow. But like button and then leaving a comment go a long way in communicating to me that you enjoy these videos. But yes, if you can make the class, then definitely get signed up. If not, drop me an email and hopefully I'll see you there.